Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Binu Anand at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulae for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry heavyweight on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Khader Basha. He's an accomplished and dynamic business leader with over 3 decades of exemplary experience in the electrical, power, electronics, and telecom sectors, primarily in global markets, with a focus on India and Asia. His distinguished track record demonstrates an exceptional ability to drive market-beating results, formulate effective organizational and business models, and implement successful go-to-market strategies. He is adept at leading organizational transformations, setting in place robust mechanisms for sustainable revenue and market growth, and fostering strategic partnerships that enhance brand longevity and speed to market. In his latest role as Vice President, he has served in the position of Asia Data and Commercial Ops Leader, overseeing the Safety and Industrial Business Group, that is SIBG at 3M. Welcome, sir. Welcome to here. And to begin with, could you elaborate on your journey in the electrical, power, electronics, and telecom sectors over the past 3 decades?
Hey, thank you, Venu, for that wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure to have this conversation with you, and thank you for that. So my journey in these industries has spanned over the last 30 years, and I have been associated with several diverse technology sectors that have been rapidly evolving. So I would really take pride in being fortunate to be associated with these sectors. So I was fortunate to participate and contribute to the growth of the telecom industry way back at the start of privatization of the telecom sector in the mid-90s. I was associated to start with the paging industry during 95 to 97, when pagers were introduced as the medium of text communication, which was something which was the first time that was happening in India. Around 97, I joined a company called R&M from Switzerland, which was manufacturing telecom connectivity products. And they had a joint venture partnership in India with the TVS group. And I was one of the first employees of this organization, tasked with the responsibility to build the business ground up, which included responsibilities for product qualification, certification, driving specifications with the telecom OEMs and the service providers, as well as leading the business development to drive sales. I was associated with this organization for about 7 years and was successful in scaling up the business and establishing the brand as one of the top 3 preferred solution providers for telecom connectivity products in India, both with the OEMs as well as the solution providers. And the portfolio included connectivity products for both optical, fiber optics, as well as copper connectivity mediums. Later on, sometime, I think in the early 2004, I joined 3M as the National Sales Manager to lead the telecom business. This was a great opportunity to associate with a leading global brand with diverse businesses and portfolio, as well as products that are used globally and manufactured globally. So I led the telecom business at 3M for almost about 6 years. as the P&L leader, driving profitable growth year on year. My next opportunity came in 2010 at 3M again. I was chosen to lead the electronics business of 3M to support the electronics manufacturing services industry, which had just begun to open up in India at that time. So the opportunity here was to serve these EMS companies, leading with the manufacturing onset of mobile handhelds in India. That was a time when Nokia set up their first mobile manufacturing plant in India, followed by companies like Samsung, LG, and you had the electronics manufacturing companies like Foxconn, Flextronics, Jabil, etc., apart from many other defense and aerospace companies who had set up manufacturing operations. They included also public sector companies like Bharat Electronics, Bharat Heavy Electricals, a lot of DRDO laboratories and DRDO associated manufacturing associations. And then the aerospace industry, including companies like National Aeronautics, Hindustan Aeronautics, ISRO. All of these companies had a lot of demand for the electronics products. And I was leading the electronics business, selling them a lot of materials that go into manufacturing of these electronic equipments and products. Thereon, there was also a demand for data storage with the advent of a lot of electronics and usage and the penetration of mobile telephony in the country. So there was a demand for a lot of data centers to be set up in the country. And this was another segment that I was closely worked with. Working with an organization like 3M, which is as diverse, you get to enjoy the benefits of working with a large global diversified company only when you get the opportunity to lead and work with diverse businesses cutting across different markets as well as industry sectors, opportunity to work with different customers. So, I was fortunate to seize upon this opportunity. And in 2014, I got an opportunity to lead the electrical business of 3M. So I started with telecom, moved to electronics, and then moved into electrical, all within the same company. So that's the beauty I mentioned of working with a diverse company. So as the business leader with P&L responsibility for leading this business to profitable growth, I was also responsible for driving sales growth, increasing market share, portfolio management, as well as new product introductions, distribution and channel growth, and expanding our footprint in the market. I was accountable for ensuring order fulfillment and enhancing customer experience through ensuring timely supplies and preventing project execution delays, because this business was involved in a lot of project execution with a lot of power projects that were happening in the country across the power space, be it generation, transmission, or distribution companies. So making sure that projects get executed in time is a very fundamental obligation when you sign up a contract with customers, and it's very important to make sure that projects do not get delayed. So, so that becomes one of the important criteria in businesses like this. This also helped me to gain strong operations experience through collaboration and engagement with all functions of the business, be it manufacturing, sourcing, customer service, finance, technical, R&D, legal, as well as HR. So that's the opportunity that you get of cross-functional engagement and collaboration when you start to lead businesses. So it has been a wonderful journey over the last 3 decades that has been very rewarding for me, with a lot of great learnings all through the different stages of my career. These learnings and experiences have always been invaluable in shaping me as a leader, and to lead and manage teams and people across geographies and different cultures as I moved on to global roles as well as roles in Asia. So that's pretty much, how my journey has been so far.
Amazing and inspiring journey, I would say.
Thank you.
Your career journey is full of milestones and contributions. Which of them do you cherish the most, and why?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. So first of all, I am thankful to the Almighty, to my family, my colleagues, peers, and co-workers for shaping my career and helping me reach the position where I am today in my career. And as I said, making it a highly rewarding experience. So as I see it, when I look back, every role and position that I served in has taught me very valuable lessons and helped me gather insights from all stakeholders, both internal as well as external stakeholders, including your customers, your channel partners, vendors, suppliers, all of them. The opportunity to engage and learn with all of them makes one's career. And when you look back, you should always find an opportunity to understand and see what were the learnings and how that has helped shape me. So that's the way I look at it. So these learnings have helped me achieve my goals and deliver on the metrics and deliverables all through my career. There have been learnings from both success as well as failures, because journey cannot be only success. You've got to learn from failures as well. And I have seen some of those challenges also in my 3 decades of career. So it is important to acknowledge and learn from both these situations to avoid repeating those mistakes. So if I want to pick a few experiences that I cherish the most, some of the examples that I would think of is I would attribute my success to more of my curiosity to offer differentiated solutions to customers. And this calls for the ability to have a detailed understanding of customer pain points that can be solved by product reengineering, design changes. So why I say this is, while I'm a business professional, I'm not a product engineer, but having that ability to understand such needs and solve problems for customers has been a very satisfying and fulfilling experience for me all through. And this helps build trust and win customers' confidence to build long-lasting relationships with customers. So I had the organization's support all through in taking this approach. And this approach helped me even at 3M when I was leading the telecom business or the electronics business or the electrical business, which helped me in reaping rich dividends, growing the business and building long-term connections, and also leaving a legacy of businesses as you move on from one business to another. You take pride in looking back and seeing that, yes, the company still retains these customers. The customers are still buying from this organization, and it's a very satisfying and fulfilling experience. So if I look back, I find this situation in most of my businesses that I have run and moved on. So to me, that is very satisfying. And of course, building credibility with customers, is to solve their problems is something which is an opportunity that many a times as business leaders, we think of just trying to make a sale and win a contract. But trying to solve a customer's problem is like winning a business for lifetime. You're winning a customer for lifetime, so that whenever they have a problem at the next time, you should be the first one that they should be calling to solve their problems. And that's the way I have always seen building relationships with customers. And that's the principle that I have also inculcated in the teams that I have built. And I would cherish some of these experiences through my journey.
Thank you for sharing. What values and principles do you regard as the basis
if I may add, something, while, is it okay if I can just elaborate on the previous question?
You're not audible. Hello?
Is it okay if I can elaborate on the previous question a bit?
Yeah, sure.
Can I continue?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So apart from that, you see that all businesses go through different phases of success and challenges. And the ability to manage and navigate through these calls for different levels of skills and competitiveness. I have been successful in driving businesses for growth, for expanding reach, setting up distribution networks, managing products, portfolio mix, for driving profitability, improving profitability. as well as in the leadership roles, I have also had the opportunity and responsibility for managing cost of goods sold through my engagement and collaboration with the manufacturing and operations, basically driving operations excellence, as well as driving sales and marketing effectiveness, portfolio classification, and creating roadmaps for future growth. So as leaders, it's very important to look at what's the roadmap going ahead. So that's something that I've always focused on. Apart from this, things like strategic planning, building strategic partnerships across the spectrum, be it with customers, vendors, partners, large key accounts, strategic accounts, has always been my focus. And developing leaders and building winning teams, building high performance teams through coaching and mentoring is something that I have always focused on, so that you groom and nurture leaders for the next succession. And then over the last 13 years, I would say my roles in leadership positions in India, across Asia, as well as in global roles, have provided me vast exposure and experience in managing and working with people, as well as large teams from different countries and cultures, which is both challenging as well as exciting at times. All of these opportunities in various roles have shaped my leadership skills as well. And I cherish all of this in both success as well as some challenges that I have dealt with and I have learned from those challenges. So that's the kind of been my career journey, and these are things that I always cherish.
Thank you so much for sharing. What values and principles do you regard as a basis of your success?
Oh, okay. So I have always, believed, or I would say I strongly believe that the foundation of success must be built on strong value system. And this is something that one inculcates right from your childhood, the way you conduct yourself by observing and by learning during your schooling days, during your colleges, as well as in your early professional life. So these are things that one must inculcate, is what I would say. And the ability to steer the course without compromising on any of these values, have shaped me as a better individual and a leader. Personally, I have always practiced values such as integrity and honesty, staying positive with a sense of gratitude, as well as having and focusing on strong work ethics, which primarily means ownership, responsibility, and accountability. These are unquestionable and uncompromising when somebody is in a job or a profession. And being very purpose-driven, that helps you overcome many challenges on good days as well as bad days. So the purpose is what will keep pushing you. And of course, over and above all of this, being empathetic and having the ability to build trust with your teams. See, these are some of the values that I've always believed in, and I continue to look upon these as the basic building blocks. Also, I look at it that it is important to differentiate situations from being good to being right, and this helps in building and shaping character as well as people relationships. So it's not necessarily that you always try to be good, but it's important that you be right. And, there have been times when I have had to face challenges as well as make tough choices because of my chosen values. But I always had the courage and the tenacity to take the high path, and thereupon that's how I have lived upon my values, and I am confident that I would be able to continue to do so going forward as well.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, sir. How and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Okay, so if I were to reflect on this specifically, My career over the last 3 decades has been shaped by my association with large multinational companies, as I mentioned. And the last 15 years, I would say, I have been in leadership roles with the responsibility and having accountability to practice as well as uphold the company's values as well as the code of business ethics that every organization has. And it has now become for me a habit to watch these very closely to ensure actions are aligned to these values and when you have these rules of engagement. It's absolutely very important. So to me, corporate governance is all about demonstrating, I would say, accountability, transparency, fairness, responsibility, and awareness. So having made this as a way of life, I would like to build on these principles and contribute to strengthening the adoption of these. Hence, for me, it is a natural progression to take this path of corporate governance. And coming to ESG, while we look at it as the current fad, but technically when you look at and reflect upon it, ESG has been discussed in theory for most part, but only in the last 15 to 20 years, businesses have started looking at this aspect very seriously with definite actions and I would say commitments, realizing that, businesses, industries, and these large enterprises, they are the most powerful entities who are capable of initiating social changes. And thereupon, it dawns upon them and it becomes a responsibility. Also, if you look at it in India, I think SEBI mandated ESG reporting sometime in 2012 for the top 100 listed companies. And since then, it has gained importance. The need for awareness and knowledge of ESG compliances is growing at all levels today, not necessarily at the boardrooms, but it has to be driven down to all functions in an enterprise. And this is going to be a journey. And I have now embarked on this journey of learning to try and see how we could help in the implementation process in collaborating with some of these large companies. And that's the way I look at it in terms of my own interest as well as development in this space of corporate governance as well as ESG.
Thank you, sir. As an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Well, I would say it is the ethical responsibility of all business enterprises to conduct and practice their business in compliance with the laws of the land they operate in. There are no questions about it. This is a responsibility of all employees working for the enterprise. However, I would say that accountability and ownership rests with the leadership and senior management. And this must be imbibed as a culture across the organization. I would continue to build and strengthen the values that I have imbibed over the last 3 decades of my professional career, aligned to the 5 core pillars of corporate governance and ESG, as I mentioned, which is responsibility, accountability, awareness, transparency, and fairness. And the only way to make sure that you are aligned with these pillars is to demonstrate and exhibit the values of integrity and honesty, taking ownership of decisions as well as actions. And in terms of awareness, as I said, a lot of this is the responsibility of creating awareness. And that's the only way you engage and you teach people. So one has to be a learner for life because there is no end to learning. And there are new things happening every way, which calls for newer rules, newer regulations, newer laws coming into place. So one has to be a learner for life. And in terms of ensuring transparency, I think it's very important doing the right things with honesty and being open for feedback. That's the only way that one would be able to make progress, move forward, and win trust. So that's a very important value that I would bet heavily on. And of course, when it comes to the other most important pillar, which is being fair, and one of the most important aspects, be it in corporate governance or ESG, is trying to understand the values and benefits of equality, inclusion, and diversity. So that's something which is very critical in building organizations and growing organizations today. At the same time, doing all of this with humility and respect for people, environment, and the communities we live in. So these are some of the values that I would bring to the table and make sure that this is something that I would like to see with my colleagues and peers that I would be engaging with.
Thank you so much for your inputs. What are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with the changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
Oh, that's a very broad spectrum of technologies that you have combined. But I must say that technology is always, industry and sector agnostic, as the benefits of any of these technologies are far-reaching and they are pervasive in nature. So most of these new age technologies that you mentioned, be it IoT or AI or blockchain, machine learning, big data, all of this that we get to hear, they, at a point in time, they help in convergence of many other older generation technologies, I would say. But at the same time, helping in the democratization of technology, because it needs to be made available to everyone. And the world is increasingly moving away from mechanical and manual mode to digital and automated mode in every sphere. Whether you look at it in the manufacturing space, you look at transportation, you look at the way learning and education is imparted today, the whole piece of communication, whether it is the way we engage and communicate or the way we view media, the way we receive and consume media on the internet, on OTT platforms and all of this, or whether it is banking and commerce, for example, to name a few. All of these technologies, I would say, within their capabilities are primarily enablers for minimal human involvement, as well as for improving efficiency and productivity, as well as, I would say, enhancing security and encryption in a digital world today. And of course, calling for decentralization of control, which is very important. As technology expands and becomes all pervasive, you cannot be trying to manage and control it from one command and control. You got to decentralize this. So that becomes very important. So that said, the real power of all of these technologies, in my view, is driven and unleashed by the volume of data that is available today. And all our human actions and behaviors are captured today to determine and derive patterns over time that help in essentially a couple of things that come to my mind are, it offers you predictive insights to plan in advance or to predict certain actions, and it helps in intelligent data-driven decisions making. That's something that it helps. It helps in terms of building efficiency and taking proactive actions. They help in largely in risk management, so that you are able to foresee and be better prepared. So that's the advantage of having data which can be simulated and understood better. And then, of course, as I said, speed, efficiency, helping in unaided, uninterrupted performance, accuracy of the things that we do, so that there are lesser errors and mistakes. And of course, in a sense, all of these technologies, I would see, also helps in augmenting capabilities of differently abled individuals as well. many a times, there were certain activities or certain jobs which, the differently abled people could not participate in. But today, I think technology allows for that, which is a great boon for people with those capabilities. And then allowing for, I would say, definite and continuous process improvements. So these are some of the changes that I, would foresee. And that's how I think technology always helps. And that should be the focus of any technology when it is being introduced. Else it is not a technology that is going to be successful. That's the way I look at it.
Thank you so much for your valuable inputs. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
Well, that's a great question. So today, if you look at it, we live in a world where there is humongous amount of data and information. This information is nothing but facts that are coming from several sources, right? But the ability to combine this information and data in a meaningful manner, combined with experiences, results in knowledge. And knowledge builds expertise and skills, and they develop subject matter experts, right? So in my view, this whole process and this attempt and endeavor by Zishan, Heval, as well as the World Development Corporation, I believe they're doing a great job in identifying the right talent pool and equipping them with the necessary knowledge and skills, because this is important going forward. So I would say this effort and endeavor to build this large, resourceful community will certainly benefit the industry at large in shaping responsible and sustainable businesses, as well as enterprises that help build a safe, secure, and sustainable world for future generations to carry forward. So I would think this is a wonderful and a great initiative, and they are doing very good. And I would wish them the very best in this pursuit.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Basha sir, for joining us today. Wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vinu. It was wonderful conversing and having this interaction with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Great day.
Thank you.